Hello everybody. I just wanted to go over leash work. I'm just assuming that everybody knows the right approach and how to make the dog feel good just before you're putting it on. When you're coming, a lot of times I won't even take it off until I'm at the point where I've neutralized them and they're almost sitting on their own. I'm not asking them to sit, remember. The only time I care about when a dog sits is when they sit, when I'm approaching them and neutralizing them. Once you take off the leash, then your shoulders go limp and your arms go limp. And it's almost like you're holding it down by your thighs. As you're approaching the dog, maybe they try to sidestep you. So in that case, as soon as you start needing to work and neutralize the dog, become wide. Get your hands out past your hips and be ready to use it as a little blocking thing. What I'm doing when I'm neutralizing a dog is I'm trying to stay an inch on the outside of their nose, just 1 little inch. It could be a half an inch, just as long as when they go that way, I just go like that, and I'm just a little bit past them, and they feel like they can't get there. If I can't get there with like getting my nose 1 inch outside of their nose, and they start beating me, that's when the hand comes in. And then you get your hand to the outside of their nose, and then they stop. Because as soon as they see that it's just to the outside of their nose, 90% of the time, they're gonna take a neutralizing step. Maybe stay still, maybe go back the other way. But remember, this helps us just being consistent. And I've seen all too many times new dogs who don't like collars, they appreciate this. Even the little dogs. We're gonna start hiring more now. I want everybody to please be on the same page with this. It's a leash, you know what I mean? Dogs and leashes have been around since the beginning of the time. Just try to get good with it like this, so that it's like this. And then when you're approaching, try not to put the leash out, try not to be tight, try to just like work from your waist down, because as soon as a dog sees tight upper body, tight neck, anything, then they start getting tight too. But if you're shuffling, if you're concentrating on your lower body, when you get ready to use your upper body, it's much less tight looking, even if you are tight. So you'll never approach like this. You'll hopefully never be tight on the approach. I mean, it's hard because you have to get to the point where you're working and you're performing, right? And you're trying to beat them to the outside of the nose. To take a deep breath. Good girl. As soon as they rock back just a little bit, it means that they're close to sitting on their own. And even if they're not close to sitting, then they're more willing to stay still. And then the approach, and as soon as you see that little nuance, when they just like settle back just a tiny bit, because it's different. They're either going left, going right, or shifting their weight that way. They either shift their weight this way, shift their weight that way, go that way, go that way. But when they stay still for an elongated period of time, that's when you start caressing them with your voice. Good girl. And just like most dogs don't like to be pat up here, 75% of dogs or more like you to come down here and your butt. So try not to pet a dog on top of their head unless you know them really well and you know that they enjoy it, because we're getting new dogs now. And there's a universal code of peace and neutrality, and it's just act like you know the dog. Use a slip lead. Never hoard over them. If they're in a corner, walk them out. Don't bother going after a dog when they're in the corner unless you absolutely 100% know this dog. But still and yet, it's a slippery slope. It's never good to get a dog in a corner. Always flush them out to just 5 feet that way, so that they have a chance to leave if they want to. Leash down to the hips and be relaxed. Sophie, come. Sit. Stay. Here it is like this. Good girl. So that you can try to get them to start even stepping into the collar. But at the very least, all dogs should be tolerant and see this as a good thing and not a bad thing. Thank you all very much for this first video. Got a little bit of a rocky start. If anybody wants to reply me with the video, that's cool.